it was an army lieutenant in Virginia. I guess it was a traffic stop. He literally has on his whole like camo army, like the fatigues and all that bullshit.
Right.
Like his whole army uniform. Like you could tell he's a lieutenant. So in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army is suing 2 Virginia police officers over a traffic stop last December. This happened last December, during which the officers drew their guns, pointed them at him, used a slang term to suggest he was facing execution before pepper spraying him. Body camera footage shows that Second Lieutenant Karan Nazario, who was black and Latino, dressed in uniform with his hands held in the air outside the driver's side window as he told officers, "I'm honestly afraid to get out." I'm guessing at that point they was telling him to get out the car with his hands up and all that. And after he told the officers, "Yeah, I'm afraid to get out," one of the officers responded to him saying, "Yeah, you should be." Now they see the fucking his arms out the window and can see the army fatigues, and they still say this.
Right.
So in a lawsuit filed earlier this month, Nazario says that his constitutional rights were violated during a traffic stop in the town of Windsor, about 30 miles out of Norfolk, about 30 miles west outside of Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah.
The two sides in the case dispute what happened after a second police officer joined the first one in the stop. At the time, Nazario was coming from his duty station, going home, basically. So he basically was leaving the army. You know, there's army bases all over the country, like in the States.
They fucking all the females around him.
Yeah, I'm assuming he was leaving the army base, heading home, minding his business. He was assigned to Fort Lee, so he was leaving Fort Lee, going home. So he graduated from Virginia State. He was commissioned out of the ROTC program. He's an officer in the United States Armed Forces.
Right.
Let me see. He's not doing well. He's traumatized, all that.
Fairly so. He got fucking just, not taste.
Exactly.
Pepper spray.
Exactly.
For literally obeying the command. So it's just like there's incidents like this where.
Let me finish. No, you good. Let me finish the article. Let me finish reading though. But
okay.
Basically, Windsor police said that Officer Daniel Crocker radioed he was attempting to stop a vehicle with no rear license plate and tinted windows, which was the truck that Nazario was in.
Right.
The driver said that he was eluding police and considered it a high risk traffic stop, according to a report he submitted after everything.
Right.
Someone else, one of the other officers, said that Nazario explained at the time that he wasn't trying to elude, but trying to stop in a well-lit area for officer safety and out of respect of the officers. Another officer, Joe Gutierrez, was driving by when he heard Crocker's call, saw him attempting to stop the SUV, joined in. Gutierrez acknowledged that Nazario's decision to drive to a lighted area happens to him a lot, and 80% of the time, it's a minority.
Right.
So in this part of Virginia, most of the time, if it's someone that's black or maybe Hispanic or maybe even Asian, when they get pulled over by cops, they're like, fuck it, let's go to a lighted area so the cops can see everything, so they're not thinking that I'm going to do something in order to get me killed or so they could shoot at me.
Mm-hmm.
This is quoting one of the officers that pulled up after. So
yeah,
pretty much, Nazario drove his SUV to a gas station. The two officers got out, drew their guns, pointed them at him after they got out their cars. They attempted to pull him out the vehicle when he continued to keep his hands in the air. Then that's when Officer Gutierrez stepped back, and then pepper sprayed Nazario multiple times as the officers yelled for him to get out the car. "I don't even want to reach for my seatbelt. Can you please? My hands are out. Can you please? Look, this is really messed up." This is what Nazario said. He was stammering upon being pepper sprayed,
right,
with his eyes shut. The officer shouted conflicting orders at him, telling him to put his hands out the window while telling him to open the door and get out. So, like, that's one thing that police do. Like, you'll hear one officer telling you to put your hands out the window when the other one is telling you to open the door and get out. And it's like, what do you do at that point? Because if your hands are out the window and one officer is telling you to keep your hands out the window, but if the other one is telling you to open the door and get out and you slightly move your hands,
right,
there's a small it's a good chance that you might get shot because they think that you're doing something
right
thoughtful to them. So at this point,
because the guidelines on how to act and how to move properly is different per state. So that, like, if they train us on how, not even train, even like a video or a guideline, something, you don't need to train the civilians, but just as long as we know what is the federal standard Like if it's just gonna be pop out the car, stand up, raise your hands up, all right, then it should just be that.
Yeah,
you know?
but in that situation, so in his specific situation, so I've never seen The Green Mile. I know it's a famous movie about, it's like a prison movie about some dude that gets executed, or a black man facing execution. That's what The Green Mile is about. If y'all never seen it, I've seen parts. I've never seen it.
I've never seen it.
But I've seen this part in the movie. So this is Officer Gutierrez, and let me go back. I think Officer Gutierrez is the one that he said that like that happens 80% of the time, that a minority goes into a well-lit area when they get pulled over. So this is the same dude that agreed with Nazario, the army vet, or the active duty army officer. Mm-hmm. This motherfucker said to this nigga, okay, the officers shouted conflicting orders at Nazario, telling him to put his hands out the window, while also telling him to open the door and get out, the lawsuit says. At one point, Officer Gutierrez told Nazario that he was fixing to ride the lightning. So if you've seen The Green Mile, basically that's a reference to the electric chair, which was basically what happened to the dude in the movie. Mm-hmm. He got the electric chair or whatever. So that ride the lightning, electric, like that's basically like slang for you about to die.
Yeah.
So cops should not be
saying that.
Yeah, you shouldn't be saying shit like this. You should be trying to
He's
de-escalate the situation, and I'm glad these officers got fired. I hope all of them that were involved get fired, because fuck them. Because in this situation, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Also charged.
I hope they get charged with attempted murder or whatever it may be. I hope they get charged.
Because he got paper spray for
no reason,
for applying
for complying with officers,
and he's a lieutenant.
He's a second lieutenant. He's not even
with his uniform on. So it's like,
I don't even know Army ranks like that, but to be a second lieutenant, I'm pretty sure he has to have some type of ranks. He had to do something in the Army to deserve that title.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't just fucking in boot camp, a good boot camp dude. He had to like do something, like be in the field.
No, yeah.
So for these motherfuckers to say some shit like that, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah. No, they, in this incident is outrageous.
And I'm glad that one officer got fired, but they all need to be fired.
Yeah. Okay, so Gutierrez got fired.
Gutierrez, that was the one that got fired? Fuck him. How are you going to say that this happens to you 80% of the time when you pull over minorities, that they go to a well-lit area,
right?
And then in the heat, I don't give a fuck if it was the heat of the moment, you talking about you fixing to ride the lightning or whatever.
Right.
Who says some shit like that? And your name is Gutierrez, so you're not even white. You have to be Hispanic.
Right.
So you're a minority too. What's wrong with you?
Right.
Like, you should know better than that.
I think police station needs to do an assessment test on police. If they get to a certain point where
they vet them way more, you're right.
They gotta maybe therapy, or maybe
no. Fuck therapy. They need to start they need to start vetting these police officers before they hire them. If these motherfuckers even seem a little crazy, what is the point of hiring them? Because you know they're gonna do shit like this.
But what if there's incident where they come in normal, right? And throughout their tenure there, they see homicides and all that. So now they're developing a lot of shit. Wait, hold on. Let me finish. They're developing a lot of shit, and then the police stations are not taking that as a serious effect.
I'm mad that I shook my head because you're right.
You know,
you're right. No,
so like if they can assess the policeman, and like maybe if you're involved in so many homicide, maybe you need to go on a leave for some time. Or maybe if you involved in so many incidents, or maybe you need to put a cap on police. I know there's a lot of police that are still policing for such a long time. Mm-hmm. And I think that's very unhealthy. I don't think a policeman should work more than like 30 years or something. Because by that time, it's like 3 decades of bunch of shit that fucks with your head.
I would disagree with that, but where you said that, like you said, they need to, like, because, okay, we'll preface it. Not all police, like, go through that, but you're right in the sense, like, when you're a police officer, you see a lot of shit as a police officer. When I used to work security, I used to see a lot of shit. In my old fucking security post, somebody OD'd. I wasn't there, thank God, to see it, because I probably would have fucked me up seeing a dead body of some dude that OD'd on drugs.
Right.
But you see shit like that when you work in those type of fields. So I get it. Yeah, they need a therapy, but at the same time, we need to vet police officers, because some of these people are just dickheads and they just want to be able to have that title of a police officer to abuse their power.
Yeah, no,
So that's a whole different conversation. But you're right. I get you.
Yeah.
Like, we do need, for the police officers who do be around a long time and they might
Like-
become hardened or cynical when it comes to minorities. They need therapy.
It's not normal for the human brain and
That's right.
for us to go through those kind of, like, for example, there's one
It's
time
not
where
normal. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to see all this bullshit and not have therapy. No,
there's
you're
one
right.
time where I was going home from work late at night, right? And the cops that's blocked off the streets, right? There's a lot of wild shit, helicopters here all the time. I don't live in a great neighborhood, but I was walking and I saw the cops, right? And this is like the first month I moved in, and so I talked to him. I was like, "Hey, like, sir, I'm only here for like a month, but I'm noticing like it's the helicopters, cops here every other day." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, like this is historically this is a very bad neighborhood, especially in this corner because there's gang violence down the street over there." And then so he was talking to me.
I took off those red sweats.
Yeah, he was talking. He was talking to me about the area, and he was just like, "Yeah, like
These Mexicans out here gonna kill me."
He's like, it's very normal. Like, I probably patrol this area every day that I work, and I'm constantly always here. It's frustrating that I'm always here and having to deal with the same shit in the same neighborhood. And just last week there was a homicide across the street. And so, like, as more I'm talking to this,
and it's that. Sorry to interrupt you, but like, it's that big ass park right here. So I know a lot of shit probably goes down in there. That's usually how it goes in, like, I guess, ghetto neighborhoods. That's usually how it goes. If it's a big ass park, shit happens in there. Whether it's drug dealing, whether it's sexual assault or rape, sexual harassment, murders, assault, whatever you want to call it, it happens.
So my thing where I'm trying to get at is, like, I can hear the frustration out of his tone, and he's frustrated the fact that he's constantly here. And what got me thinking now is like the station has to do a better job at maybe rotating the police. If you're gonna constantly putting the same police in the same corner, he's just gonna be so fucking frustrated with that corner.
Let me interrupt you real quick. I mean, you're true on that, but you hit it on the nail when you said that police stations, like, they need to work more on, like, the therapy. Like you said, these police are every day seeing this bullshit.
Right.
So these stations are just in general, like, we need to do better when it comes to. And I'm not trying to cap for police officers, but come on now. Like, I know police officers see some of the most fucked up shit. So it fucks them up mentally, no matter whether you want to say police officers are bad or not. Like, whether you're on the Blue Lives Matter side or you're on the fuck the police side. Police officers see fucked up shit. They see people, they find bodies that have been sexually assaulted and raped and been left for dead and are already dead. They find people who've been shot in the head. They find all types of shit. So police officers are fucked up. I get that.
And constantly in panic mode.
And they're constantly in these situations. So I get it. And, like, I get it. At the same time, they need to just do their job.
Right.
And not, like, have that bias. But at the same time,
there needs to be it
has to be a police reform. We need to. It has nothing to do with the citizens. Like, this comes back to what you're saying. Like, we need to get more therapy for police officers. Like, if they're out here seeing this bullshit, like, if I walk outside right now and walk to my car and I see a dead body, you don't think that's gonna fuck me up?
Right.
I'm gonna have to go see a therapist.
It's kind of like a fighter after a KO knockout. They take 6 months off. It's like, yo, if an officer was just dealing with a homicide the day before that, maybe he should have a few days off. Like,
even if you don't give him days off, at least let him talk to a therapist and get and here's the thing, when it comes to, like, the because they do have I won't say that they do have therapists when it comes to, like, police and the precincts and all that.
Yeah.
Get a good therapist. You guys, the state has all this money.
Right.
Get a good therapist that's gonna actually do their job and help heal these police officers from the bullshit they see. Don't get somebody who's just gonna fucking bullshit the job because they're getting paid. Get somebody who's gonna really help these police officers heal so they're not doing fucked up shit.
You know what's a wild thing that just popped up in my head? Can we develop some kind of bulletproof army suit hero looking thing for all these cops so that they don't feel like they're gonna get shot at? Because if they feel invincible and you can't shoot them, Maybe we'll avoid less of this. Maybe Iron Man. Maybe put him like an Iron Man suit, walking around looking like a robot.
I get what you're saying. That might. I'm
just kidding.
I don't
It's a
want to sound
joke.
like an asshole. That sounds stupid. But I get what you're saying. Like, we should. The government should do something to make police officers feel safe to where they shouldn't have to feel like they have to draw their gun to kill
Right.
minorities in situations,
Yeah.
whether the person has a gun or not.
But
Okay.
also,
I get what you're saying.
but also they kind of have to feel scared because their job can be on the line if they fuck up and kill
Well,
somebody.
you have to be
because now I think a lot of them feels like they can get away with it, and our system has historically proved that they can get away with it,
but
which
we're-
is not
But we're at a point
helping
where
either.
no, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. But we're at a point where it's only so many times before it's more it's more citizens than it is police officers.
Right.
So it's only amount of time before somebody gets killed and everybody just decides to revolt against the police. So
Yeah.
we have to figure out a way to not only keep our citizens safe, but keep the police safe and make them feel like that they don't have to worry about their lives being on the line every time they clock in for duty.
Cool. All right, man. So now on to something else. I live in OC, and the other day, I think yesterday, there was a white life. There was a White Life Matter protest, and it was literally from a righteous coast white supremacy group, and there was like 4 of them that showed up. That's how I know. That's how I know a lot of people didn't want to jump in. If there's just like 4, I think it was like the report saying it was like 4 Nazi supporters. By the way, it drives me nuts as to why do we have a lot of Nazi supporter in this country. I thought that was a Germany thing that's supposed to end after World War II.
No,
But
what are you talking about?
apparently
It'd be fucking hella fucking
there's still people hating Jews. I don't get it.
No,
Why?
it's not just Jews.
Yeah, I know. It's not just
It's blacks.
It's a white supremacy thing. And
I'm
it's
gonna
just
use
like wow.
I'm gonna use all the racial slurs. It's niggers. It's spics, which is Hispanics. It's gooks, which is Asians. It's kikes, which is Jews. These white supremacy groups hate all of us. They don't just hate blacks. They don't just hate Asians. They don't just hate Jews. They don't just hate Hispanics. They hate all of us.
And they
So I won't let you do that. They hate all of us. They 100%
I
hate
know,
all
I
of
know.
us.
They hate. I know, and it drives me nuts that like we allowed this shit to happen. Because
But they're a minority. They're a minority.
They're a
fuck,
minority,
Fuck
yeah.
blacks and Hispanics and Asians and Jews. White supremacist groups are a minority.
right, so
Especially in California.
it just kind of proves to you. So that shit happens, right? And they were totally debunked by the anti, and they were like, "Get the fuck out!" Screaming, "You Nazi!" And so these people just got drived off, and it's like, good, because they have no place in the world, because like for you to think only one race reigns supreme among all race,
And I don't want to sound like
nuts.
a dickhead, but white people, Aryans, the blonde hair, blue eyes, they're not even a superior race.
They're not. Who is the superior race?
Shit, blacks and Mexicans.
Really?
I'll say blacks, and that's not even me being biased. Think about it.
I'm not gonna
Most
say
black-
us. We have small dicks, so that just kind of
Think about
it
it.
just puts us out the.
All right,
the-
let's
the-
be
the
serious for a
contest
second.
here.
Let's be serious
Oh, okay.
serious for a second. With like not me being biased, but think about it. Most black people are athletic. Most black people are usually the tallest and strongest.
Yeah, no, genetically, y'all got it.
Even like now, a lot of black people are actually smart if they actually put their mind to it. Like, and I'm not even trying to say like just minorities and even Mexicans.
Yeah,
Like Mexicans might be short.
where they
I'm
work
sorry,
real
but-
hard.
but they work hard as fuck.
Hey, Asian work hard too.
Wait, time out.
Asian work real hard too.
Let me
though.
change that. Not Mexicans. Hispanics work hard as fuck. Hispanics are probably the most hardest working people I've ever seen in my life. They will do I don't want to sound like fucked up, but Hispanics will do any job if it means that they're gonna make money to support their
I'm
family.
about to drop your drink, my guy.
That was accident. My hands. I gotta keep
okay.
my hands out here.
Okay.
My bad.
Go
But
ahead.
Hispanics, like, they will literally do any job if it means supporting their family. If it means they could get their family out of Mexico, out of Colombia, out of Ecuador, out of Venezuela, any of these countries where Hispanics are being killed because of the drug shit over there or other shit. If they can get their family out of there and make money and get them to America, they're gonna do it. So I salute Hispanics.
Let me slip in and
Latinos,
say
whatever you want to call them.
Let me slip in and say us Asian will clean any dirty feet in order to pay the bills.
It's the same thing with Asians too. Asians are just like Hispanics. Like black people, like we
the amount of
got brought here. So
toes.
we got brought here, black people. So we didn't choose to be here, but we make the best of our situations. But Hispanics and Asians, they don't just make the best of their situations. They take them situations and they take them up here and they really make the best of them. So
and now let's tie it together and saying that all race have positive.
All races have positives and all races have negatives. So
yeah,
I don't get the racism that white people put against us minorities.
The white supremacy. Let's put that. I'm not trying to create no conflict here.
We gotta have a whole nother topic. I'm sorry, this is off topic, but we gotta another day. We gotta have a whole nother topic about how. And this is me saying this. If people gonna be mad, I don't give a fuck. We gotta have a whole nother topic about how black people don't think that they're the only minorities, because we're not. And we could talk about this another day, and I'll break it down for the idiot. Relax.
Okay, that's another episode.
No, you're good. You're good. But okay. I'm gonna break it down for the idiots that are black that think that we're the only minorities. I'm gonna break shit down for us another episode. But this not gonna be next week. This not gonna be 2 weeks from now. We're gonna talk about it though. But I'm gonna break shit down for y'all. But